Do you ever wonder why it feels like certain artists just attract attention effortlessly, and for other artists, it seems like getting people to notice their music is a constant uphill battle and struggle? Well, I'm Daxton Page, and today I'm going to be giving you 5 different ways that you can stop struggling to get noticed in your music career and actually get your music heard. So this is a message I get all the time for people. They're saying like, Dax, how do I get my music heard? How do I actually get people to notice me? And my clients, we've talked about this one-on-one many times, and this is really one of the things that I want to break down in detail for you guys, is how to stop dealing with this issue, because it sucks. It sucks being in that position where you feel like nobody cares and no one's listening and stuff. But there's often a few tweaks that we can make to help us actually get to more people, get heard, and I'm going to be breaking those down. Let's dive into it. Number 1, let's talk about the content first. We all know we should be putting out content. I also did a video breaking down the 3 mistakes that are killing your social media career. You can go check that out for this video, where I talk about a lot of the insecurities and the walls that artists have around posting. But I'm going to assume in this video that you've conquered those and you're posting, okay? But maybe the posts just aren't getting the traction that you want, and that's causing some stuff, that's some hangups. So here's what we can do. First of all, sometimes just simply increasing the frequency at which you post can yield positive results. This doesn't work in all cases. I'll get to that. But sometimes it's simply a matter of, hey, you're posting once every 2 months. You gotta post once a day, or at least 3 to 4 times a week. You gotta post on a regular basis. And you do that for a lot of reasons, but people don't want to do it for this reason that they're like, well, what if I have a bunch of videos that have like 10 views on it? Okay, what if 10 people were in front of you right now giving you a like and saying, dude, I like you, I like you, I like you. And there was 10 people doing that. I like you, I like you, I like you. And you're just like, oh man, I just feel so much love. I feel so happy. Thank you guys so much. Speaking of which, if you guys would like the video, that would make me, no, I'm just kidding. But I mean, if you want to, that's great. But you get the idea. If 10 people were in front of you saying, hey, I like your stuff, that's really cool, you would be like, man, I feel good, man. And then you have like 20 people, 50 people, 70 people. We consider these low numbers, but I want you to put in perspective, is like, that's 70 people. If they were in front of you right now and they're like, yeah, dude, that was awesome, you'd be stoked. Now, sometimes it's like, okay, well, every time I post, I get like 100 views. I'm like, okay, well, what if we could double that? Okay, that would be great. If we can get 200 views a day, that'd be great. Okay, how do we do that? Post twice a day. What do you mean? Well, if you're getting 100 views every time you post, and we're trying to get to 200 views a day to help kind of boost things up a little bit, let's just post twice a day for a little bit. Let's see what happens. Because now we're going to be getting 200 views a day for each 100 views on your videos. So they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. They start posting more frequently, and all of a sudden you notice they're getting a lot more traction now. Like, the numbers are starting to do this exponential thing that over time, after putting out a lot of content, it starts to rev up and up and up and up. When I very first started my TikTok account, I had no followers, so I started out just shooting these videos, and they would get 10, 70 views, not even, so you can imagine they're like 0 to 1 likes every single video. But I posted every day for 365 days, basically. A couple days I missed there. But basically for an entire year, I was posting every single day. And I learned things as I did that. This is sort of Mr. Beast philosophy. This is what, like, in the act of doing, you see your blind spots and are able to work on your blind spots. So I started to work in the beginning. My videos were not getting very many views. And so then one day I tested having a red headline or a red hook. And so it said, 4 ways to do blah, 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 blah. It was in red, and people would stop more often, and my views started going up on average. I was like, okay, keep the red headline. We've learned that works. And I just kept learning from there. And then it got to a point where I was getting, thousands of views on a video at times. And then I got up to 4,000 followers in about a year's time. And that's really the cool thing, is at first, you may not see very many results, but you post frequently enough, you'll start to get results. The next thing that you need to look at, as opposed to like, okay, I'm posting frequently, I'm starting to get my name out there. There's more content out there. I'm a fisherman, and I've got a bunch of hooks in the water now. I've been putting out a lot of content. Well, here's something you need to make sure you're doing with that content. It needs to be SEO rich. Now, what does that mean? SEO typically stands for search engine optimization. Now, and most people think of like getting in the first slot on Google. That's not really what I'm talking about here, but it kind of is. See, I want you to look at SEO from the platform perspective. So you go to your Instagram Explorer, your search bar, and you type in guitar, or you type in drums, or rock music, hip hop, jazz, whatever, reggae. You type in something, there's going to be a fold of videos. There's going to be rows of 3 videos all up in this first screen image, right? Because now they can start scrolling down. But that first fold is very important. That's the SEO that we're trying to achieve here. So for instance, you need to get in the mind of your fan and think like, what is my fan already searching for? How can I create content around that so that when my dream fan is looking for the thing they're already going to be looking for, I can pop up there? I want to like use an example. Let's do like a reggae band. That'd be a fun example. So let's say you're a reggae band. What are typical fans of reggae searching? Maybe they're searching for beaches. Maybe they're searching for vacations. Maybe they're searching Rastafarian culture. Maybe they're searching up Bob Marley, right? Or Ziggy Marley, or any of the other reggae artists that I don't know because I'm not huge into reggae. But like they start, okay, where would someone who likes that music be? Maybe they'd be at like a resort, maybe they'd be on an island, maybe they'd be, and you start thinking about it from that perspective, and you can create music and content now with those search terms in mind, so that when you're creating the captions for your post, but not just the captions, but the text that you're going to put on the video itself, that's your hook line, right? That stuff needs to be SEO rich too. The other thing is hashtags. People are kind of polarized around hashtags. Some people say they do nothing. Some people say they're awesome. I think they work, but not for the main reason most people think. But maybe I share a lot with what they believe, but there's just a couple things. I think of hashtags as just more SEO. It would be weird of me, like for instance, if I was to throw my search terms randomly in the caption. It's just all, normal caption, and at the bottom of the caption you see music business tips, it'd be kind of weird, right? It wouldn't flow very naturally. But if they're hashtags, I can just kind of dump 6 to 10 different search terms that I know my dream fans are looking for, and I can get real specific with it. If the video has a specific context, I can really dig deeper into those search terms and the terms that sort of circle it and are similar to it, and people are looking at those as well. You can really dive in and start to have posts that are rich in SEO. So not only are you putting out content frequently, but that content is now frequently being put into categories that you want your dream fans to see you in. And like that's the real trick there, is the frequency and the sorting together. That's the main thing, because you can start to fill up the category that your dream fan would be consuming with your content, because you're posting it frequently and you're making sure it's sorted in the appropriate place. Lastly, do some profile updates. Make sure to have call to actions to the link in your bio. Make sure to have highlights, like for example on Instagram, have highlights that drive people to your email list, to your fan club, to your newest merch offer, a show that you've got, if you got some tickets up for sale, streaming your newest album or streaming your newest song. All these links are really great to put in the highlights section. You can have the call to action that drives the link. Make sure that link is just the most relevant offer that you have at the moment. And make sure the genre that you use, it's another SEO thing, but you can also be creative with it too. I recommend SEO driven stuff, like if you're an alt rock band, putting alt rock band, but if you're like a hard rock band and that term is really general and could even be shared with like a casino, maybe you put something like heavy groove rock or something, heavy groove music, and people are like, okay, well, I like heavy music, I like grooves, so I guess that makes sense, right? That's something me and my band have utilized before, because that appropriately fits our music. But like, you get the idea. 2 fun adjectives so that when people click on your profile, they're like, ooh, what does that sound like? That's what you want them to think. They see that and they go, what does that sound like? Check it out. Now they're consuming the content, and they have a lot of content to consume, right? Because you've been posting frequently. Okay, so that's the first thing that you can do to stop struggling to get noticed, is you got to put more content out there. The second thing is, you've put all this content out here, but not everyone that checks out your content is sticking around. So what do we do to fix that? We can reach out to them. This is where we can start to DM people who follow us from our reels and like our reels and comment on our reels, and we could say, thank you for the engagement. Thank you for following. Thank you for being a follower. That's for someone who's been in the, following you for a long time. Thank you for that. Where did you hear about me first? What's your favorite song? Oh, hey, I see you got a dog. I love dogs. I have a, schnauzer or whatever. You can go in and start to build rapport with them, and then once they answer those questions, they'll be like, okay, well, yeah, I'm from Toronto and I do this, and yeah, and you start going in and you build rapport, and you're like, oh, thank you. Well, I've got this email list where next time I come into your area and I play a show, I can let you know that I'm going to be nearby. Can I get like a good email so that maybe like next time I have a gig nearby, you can come check it out? Or maybe you can give them something for free, like on top of it. You tell them that, and then you're like, I also give away a couple free downloads, so if you want to get some cool songs for free, just make sure to check them out. You get it for free whenever you sign up for the email list. Do whatever you can to get those people to go into the email list. So that way you actually own the contact information yourself, and you're not relying just on social media. This is going to guarantee that when you reach out to them via email, you're getting noticed, because email doesn't have the same algorithm that social media does, where social media says, you just get a little bit, and then if that little bit does good, we'll give you a little more, and if that little more, and it's not that. It's not that at all. What they do is they go, okay, you have 1,000 people on your email list. We're going to go send it out to 1,000 people. Now, some people's emails bounce, or something because they didn't type it in right or something. Well, that happens. But by and large, if their contact information is correct, they gonna get that email. You know what I'm saying? So that's another way that you can start getting noticed, because people actually get the things you're posting. Sometimes you get all these followers and you post something and they don't even know you posted anything. I know that's the case for a lot of YouTube creators who create a lot of content, and they're like, their fans see a video that the algorithm liked and they're like, I haven't seen you in forever. And he's like, really? Because I've been posting every day for like a year, So there's a lot of that kind of different stuff where you need to look out for it. But emails, generally speaking, is a way you can directly contact with somebody. And then you can also get their text information, sometimes in the same swoop. So it's like, sign up for the email. Here's your first name, email, and then have phone. Maybe you could put it as optional, but put the phone option there, right? Maybe you want to create a separate offer for the phone. Who knows? Either way, have a way to collect that information so that you can text them. Don't text them too much. Think about, if, I like to use this analogy. Imagine there's the girl who goes to shop at Ulta, right? She likes to go shop at Ulta Beauty, and she'll go give away her email address to Ulta Beauty and to all these different places. But is she going to give her number out to every single one of those businesses? Think about it. If it was like a guy coming up and asking her, hey, can I get your contact info? She's like, here's my email. You can have my email. Here's my email. But is everyone getting the phone number? No, not everyone's getting the phone number, right? So text has that sort of intimacy to it, so don't abuse it. Email, you can pretty much email them every day. And they'll still like you, by the way, even if they're not opening it. This is a crazy thought. Even if they're not opening it, some people are still, you just haven't found the thing to hook that person yet, right? So a lot of people filter out these people that haven't been engaging in their emails for a little bit, and so now their email list is smaller and they don't have to pay their provider as much money. But in the same breath, it's like, what if you could have just improved how you communicated with your audience and got those people back in the fold? So that's just something to consider. So the second step to stop struggling to get noticed is to actually reach out to your fans, because now the people that check out your content, you can start to get people to stick around. And those people you can build bonds with. Like if you send a voice message in the DMs, and you're like, thank you so much for liking, hey, Sandra, thank you so much for liking my video. It really helps me out. How long have you been listening? Is this the first time you've ever heard of me? Or whatever, some kind of really nice personal message that you can give to somebody where it's genuinely curious. They hear your voice and all that stuff. They're going to be like, whoa, that was so cool. That artist just personally reached out to me. And it's really, really impactful to do that with your fan base. It builds a crazy kind of rapport so that when they go into the email list, when you offer that, it's a natural, for sure, 100%. Okay, this next one I'm going to go through really quickly because this is something some people are struggling with, but I know a lot of people are not struggling with. So it's kind of 50-50 for a lot of people that I've talked to, but let's address it. Distribution. If you've only got your music on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, probably not a good idea. I like to have my music on all platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, Tidal, doesn't matter. People are like, oh, Spotify, grr. I'm like, yeah, guys, I know that business is not what it could be, not what it should be, and it probably ain't going to be around for very much longer, unless because I'm telling you, I get it. People hate Spotify, but not having Spotify, most people have Spotify. I was going to say, most people have it. The market share they have hundreds of millions of people that are on Spotify as opposed to other platforms. So it's the dominant player in the game. So doing some kind of boycott, like I'm going to only put my music on Bandcamp, I don't think is a very smart move, because you can put your music up on Spotify and have it on Bandcamp. You can put your music up on Spotify and have it on SoundCloud, right? So you can do these different kind of things. Also, there's a way to integrate HypeEdit with SoundCloud, and you can actually get email lists. You can get email contact information through that. So there's reasons to have those accounts, but to say that that's a substitution for distribution is not a good idea. So who would I recommend, Dax? There's a billion distributors. Who would I go with? TuneCore, 100%. I've worked with them the longest. They've given me the least amount of problems. I actually see the money on a regular basis. The details and reportings are really good. The customer service is pretty good. I am a big fan of TuneCore. So yeah, just go get them. It's basically the same product. What about DistroKid? What about Amaze? What about United? No, just go ahead and go to TuneCore. Awesome. Get it taken care of, because this is a real basic thing that you need in your music business. If you don't have it, so make sure you get that taken care of. Let's move on to the next one. Number 4. Let's stop struggling to get noticed, because we're gonna give people no choice. We're gonna pay for some advertising to get ourselves right in front of our dream fans. Now, here is the mistake. People are gonna hear this strategy and think, okay, so this is a valid strategy. I'm gonna do that one first. No. Do these strategies relatively in the order that I'm introducing them, because if you don't have any content out there except for like 1 or 2 poorly done videos and you're paying promotional budget behind that, how do I explain this, guys? You don't double down on what's not working. That's what a lot of artists do when it comes down to promotion. They see that their numbers are low and they pay for promotion to get their numbers up, but you're paying to promote a video that has clearly been demonstrated by your fan base and the algorithm and the market, generally speaking, that they don't care about it. So if I made a video that was just me like this, and like you can kind of like, I'm just sitting here and it's just, and then I go, oh hey, and then I jump into the thing and I get like 12 videos because the first 20 seconds of it are me going like this and I'm not saying anything, and you're just like, what the heck is this video? I'm scrolling on. If you dump money into that because you're like, that's not getting as many views as I want, well, I'm going to dump some advertising into this video. I'm dumping money into a video of me going like this. Are people going to resonate with that? Are your dream fans going to resonate with that? Oh, but I've got the targeting down. Yeah, do you think that targeting is going to matter when all they see is this? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's what you're doing in your videos or whatever every artist is doing out there, but I'm saying a lot of artists haven't figured out what really works, what really resonates. There's content I like that I've put out, but that doesn't mean my fans liked it as much as I liked it when I put it out. So I have to be impartial. I have to look at what the fans like, not what I like, what the fans like. And when they say to me, I post a video and the hook hits just right, both musically, the hook text on the screen, the caption, it all just, bam, bam, bam works. Well, now we can look at something and go, that's worth putting some money behind. So advertising is really about figuring out what works for free first. Now you can test, you can run ad tests. They're just expensive if you don't know what you're doing. I've had other videos that talk about that sort of strategy a little bit more in depth, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I don't want to take it too much time. So testing your ads out, making sure that your ads are actually something that has shown to resonate with other people. Not just I want to fight my insecurities of having videos that have 10 views on it, so I'm going to go promote that video so people see it because I think that video was good. It's like, guess what? Maybe the audience didn't think so. And then you shoving it down their face with an advertising budget is going to have the opposite of the intended effect that you want, right? I'm going to put it in front of them because I know they're going to like it. But if they've told you they don't like it, you're like it, take it. They're going to be like, human nature. If I tell you to do something, no, I'm not going to do that. You're telling me to do something. You know what I'm saying? So that it can have that sort of reverse effect on you. And then the big thing is like, okay, you figured out what works. You've tested a bunch of stuff. You've figured out what works. You can start to duplicate. Now your organic content should look more like that winning content that you saw in the past. Then you can go over to your advertising and start to figure out, how am I going to spend money on this that makes sense? So a lot of people, for instance, will drive ads to Spotify. That's okay if you understand the broader funnel and the game that you're playing, but a lot of artists don't know what that is or what I'm talking about. So let me break it down. If you're just planning to drive people to Spotify, I want you to think about it from a pure numbers perspective. If you're getting paid 0.0033 cents every time somebody streams your song, and you pay 20 cents, a dollar, whatever, a person, let's say you got like great numbers, like let's say you got 3 cents. It cost you 3 cents and people will click on the ad and go to the Spotify and check it out. It's still going to take a long time to get a return on your investment, even if your numbers are amazing. But ad costs have gone up, haven't they? If you're out there paying for ads, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Ad costs have gone up. So a lot of people are spending a whole bunch of money of their allocated ad budget that they're like, okay, I'm going to spend this much on ads. They're spending all of it driving people to Spotify instead of dedicating a percentage of it to go towards a retargeting campaign that is going to drive people into the email list, right? Drive people to where we can control the contact information, and now we can make an offer. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to create what's called an SLO. Are you guys ready for the business term? Self-liquidating offer. Now, what does that mean? That sounds all crazy. It was a solid gas liquid. What are we talking about here? Now, a self-liquidating offer very simply means the advertising costs a certain amount to get a person to buy, right? If I can get more for what they buy than what it costs for the ads, I'm good. So for instance, if it costs $5 to get somebody to buy something, but the thing they're buying costs $10, I've profited $5. You see that? So I have a self-liquidating offer because I can have the ad cost $5. They're into my funnel, my EFG framework that I've talked about on other videos. I'll go into a little bit more detail about that. Then you make an offer, and when they buy, they pay for the advertising that you had to pay for to get them to buy in the first place. That's called a self-liquidating offer. So basically, you get an offer to pay for the ad spend. You spend this money on ads, you need to have an offer that you're going to give to these people that's going to pay for all that. And so most artists don't do that second step. They spend all their money in the first step, and they're out $400, $500, and they're like, okay, when am I ever going to see that money back? I'm like, we'll just give it a decade. It'll get there. You know what I'm saying? Just, I guess if you want to wait, you just give it some time. But a smarter thing to have done would have been to get some money and allocate it towards driving people into a list that you control and now can make subsequent offers to. Now, I want you to think about it. If you make a self-liquidating offer where people come in, they pay for the advertising, or excuse me, you pay for the advertising, and then they pay for the product, and it turns out that you're making money, right? If they're in your email list, you can still continue to make offers. It doesn't just have to be the one offer. So imagine you break even. Imagine the thing costs $5 and it costs $5 to get them to buy the thing. You've made $0. This is okay. Why I didn't make anything? I thought this was supposed to make me money, Dag, so I didn't make anything. Not yet, but now you just got somebody into your email list for free. It cost you $0, right? Well, I made 0. Yeah, but it didn't cost you anything either. You know what I'm saying? And so now you've got somebody in your email list for how much? Free. You didn't pay anything for it because the ad spend and the money that you made covered it. Now when you make offers in the future, every single dollar that they spend is pure profit. Pure profit, because the ad spend was covered in the first offer, the self-liquidating offer. Now in the back, when you start selling more things, every single thing that they purchase from you is profit. 100%. And I was talking to a client the other day. One stream is like 3,300 streams. So what's more likely? One person buying a $10 item, or one person streaming a song 3,334 times, in the span of a year, so that you could get paid that same $10, basically. I think it'd be more likely that somebody would buy a $10 product. It's a little bit easier on both y'all's time, and effort and everything. So think of it like that when it comes to your advertising, right? Like where am I driving them, and then how can I return on that ad spend? And now you can control that, because if you can create a winning formula of targeting the right people and having a good offer, and you actually profit, now you're in a good spot, because you can spend more money. So put it this way, if every dollar I put into advertising, I get $2 back, how much money would you want to put into advertising? I want to put $1 million into advertising, because then I'll get $2 million back, right? Like, if it works on a small scale, you have some room to start increasing the numbers. As you increase the numbers, the cost may go up slightly. So you really want to make sure that when you find something, you find it with as best possible numbers as you can, because as you start spending more money on it, it will start to increase in cost over time. Ads just do that. I know there's a certain way that you can cycle ads. That's not really for today's training. That's a little bit more in-depth kind of scope. But the general idea here is that your advertising needs to be very methodical. I don't want you going in there just hitting the boost post and doing some general targeting. That's not going to yield any good results for you. But if you can go in and you can figure out an offer structure first, then go create the ads, then figure out how we're going to retarget and get people into our list, now we've got something cooking. And that leads me into the fifth way that we're going to stop struggling to get noticed and actually make some improvements in our music career, is implement a system. Having a system of, once they're in the email list, you're already doing all this work to create content. You're already doing all this work to reach out to people and to DM them and to create ads even, maybe. What do we want to have more work with the emails? No. What we want to do is do all the work up front and then reap the rewards in the back end. Think about like any kind of person who grows anything in agriculture. Right? You got to plant the seed, and you got to water the seed, and you got to be patient. But eventually, you put all the work in up front so that you can reap the fruits of the harvest, right? But a lot of people are out there not watering their garden, and they're not going to yield the benefits of the fruits of their, what they've put in, because they haven't put in anything, right? So it's really important to figure out, how do I build a system to save my time? How do I build a system that will allow me to do the work up front, and then turn this into something that will yield good crops for me, so to speak, in this analogy. So that system is something I call the EFG, stands for Evergreen Fan Generator. And the method is really this. Once they get into the email list, we have to develop a way to communicate with them so that they know who you are as an artist and they can relate to you. It's a really easy thing for an artist to do, is to get on their email list and just start like using it as a platform and then just doing a monologue, and nobody cares. I've seen this with clients where they're talking about things too early. I'm like, dude, we don't know who you are yet. We need to know who you are as a person. What are the things that you've went through your life that are, you've slain these dragons, you've overcome these obstacles. Let people know you've gone through some stuff. People are like, oh, I don't know if I want to share that stuff. It's a rich, kind of a dark time in my life. I'm like, exactly. You being vulnerable and sharing those things with your fans is actually just a way for them to resonate with you as a human being. And then when you start to, let's say you want to give advice and talk about enlightenment or something, they're actually more likely to listen to you, because they know that you've been through some stuff. They know that you've been out there working and you've come across trials and tribulations and all that kind of good stuff. So that, not good stuff, but all that kind of stuff, right? They can resonate with you because you're an underdog who's overcame things. And everybody loves an underdog story, and everybody likes to be a part of an underdog story. That's why people love GoFundMes and Kickstarters. People love to support the underdog. So if you can position yourself as the underdog who's trying to overcome the music business, and they can be a part of that journey, they can be a part of that, right? Then all of a sudden they start to go, whoa, this isn't just some artist who's trying to sell me on some stuff. This is an artist who's on this mission, and I believe in this mission, and I believe in this artist, so I'm going to support them financially because I know it helps them achieve these things. And if you're good at creating offers as well, they will be happy to support you. However, even if they like your mission, they're not just going to buy a crap product just because it's got your name on it. You know what I'm saying? They're not just going to do that. So what we need to do is make sure that when we create offers, we think of them in mind. What would they like? What would be something that they would buy even if it didn't have our name on it? That's a really big little bonus. Take that hint and roll with it. If they would buy it, regardless if it had your name on it or not, you've got a killer item there. So having a system where you go through and you build that rapport, and then, only then, after you've built the rapport and they understand your mission and all that good stuff, then do you make an offer. Then do you actually go out, make an offer, and start to monetize. Because otherwise, people are not going to get a genuine, authentic feeling from you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, hey, you joined my email list. You want to buy something? Next email, hey, thanks for joining my email list. You want to buy something? They're going to be out so fast. It's ridiculous. So what you need to look for is, how can I, as soon as they're in the email list, give them value. Give them value, tell them stories, just give, then ask. And now when you ask, there's a little bit better pre-framing. They're going to be more likely to want to say yes because you've built up all this goodwill, as opposed to just asking for money right out of the gate. And I want to end on something that's really important, which is a principle that's in a book called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, which is systems should run like so. You have to operate in the system first. Like, think about like your merch table. You have to be the person behind the merch table running the credit card processor, getting the inventory, checking off the sales inventory, being customer service, friendly and hospitable and all that good stuff. You got to be doing all that stuff at one time. And then after you do that for a while, you'll have such like a flow state with that. I need the sale, boom, boom, boom. Oh, credit card processor, boom. It goes in the chip reader, okay, boom. Mark it on the sales sheet. You'll have a whole flow. At that point, having been in the system, you've been in the task, you've created the system, you could literally write out on a piece of paper, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Step 4, do this. You could walk them through the entire thing, the entire merch night. The whole merch system could operate on this little to-do list. Now we can hand it off. Now we can say, okay, let's get a merch person. Let's get a merchandise manager. Okay, let's say you have a novice, someone who hasn't really been working in the business. It was just some friend that believes in your business or believes in your band and your artistry, and they want to see you succeed. So yeah, they'll help you out. They'll be your merch person. You could hand them this to-do list, and by the end of them reading it, they would be able to operate your merchandise completely fluidly. That's how a system should work for you. You go into the system yourself, operate it, see how it works. Then you can hand it off and say, automate this for me. Delegate this to you. That is the by and large best ways to stop struggling to get noticed and to actually have people hear your music. It's by going out, creating a lot of content that has a lot of good SEO stuff, and then you have a great profile to drive call to actions. You need to outreach. You need to DM your fans. You need to email them, and you need to text them. Text's a lot more private than email. And DM is a little bit more intimate than email too. It's like email, DM, text as far as how intimate of a connection channel that is. So just kind of be aware of that. If you don't have your distribution taken care of, get on TuneCore or some kind of distribution company that will get you out on Spotify. And heck, now people can maybe discover you and add you to their playlists and all that kind of different stuff. You can get discovered more that way. Number 4, you can have some advertising. We can actually pay to have people see our stuff, but we want to make sure that we do what? We test, we optimize, and then if all that's working, then we can scale, right? Then the last thing is to put this into a system where they go through all of this stuff, both through the organic and the paid channels, right? When I say channels, I mean like they've got your your content and your DMs and all that kind of good stuff, and then you've got your advertising. And that is, both those things are going to drive people into your email list or your text list. And from there, we can now start to reach out to them personally, tell them stories to build that affinity to us as an artist, and then make offers to help them have ways to support us. Because a lot of people don't know the best ways to support us. They think, oh, just go on Spotify. It's like, actually, that's not the best way. I mean, it's not a terrible way, but it's not the best way. The best way to do it would be to do these X, Y, and Z things. So I hope this video has given you a ton of value. I hope you now can have some strategies and some skills to stop struggling to get heard and actually have your music career start to grow. And if you're interested in getting some one-on-one help implementing this, there is a link in the bio. You can apply to have a one-on-one call with me. We can maybe hook you up and help you out with your music business. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button and the like button. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video of Musicians Ignite.